This is Neural Newscast.
The Week in Review for June 14th, 2026.
From Neural Newscast, I'm Peter Rowan.
And I'm Isabel Moreno.
We begin with the collapse of the April ceasefire between Israel and Iran, which sparked direct military exchanges earlier this week.
The escalation involved Iranian missiles targeting Israeli assets, followed by Israeli strikes on strategic facilities in western and central Iran, including a petrochemical complex in Mashhar.
By Tuesday and Wednesday, Brent crude oil prices reacted sharply to reports that Iran's Revolutionary Guard was closing the Strait of Hormuz. Prices settled near $97 a barrel.
President Trump announced late Thursday that a peace deal with Tehran was imminent. However, the Iranian Foreign Ministry remains skeptical, stating key red lines have not yet been resolved.
Prime Minister Netanyahu's office clarified that Israel was not a formal party to the memorandum discussed by the White House, even as the United States remains optimistic about demining the strait.
The regional impact was felt elsewhere, as Israeli strikes in Lebanon expanded into the Christian quarter of Tyre for the first time, targeting Hezbollah positions.
In Gaza, the humanitarian situation remains dire. The United Kingdom and several allies are calling for the immediate removal of restrictions on aid delivery at border crossings.
The geopolitical strain has also led the UK, France, and Australia to sanction 6 firms linked to illegal settler violence in the West Bank, signaling a harder line on regional expansion.
While conflict dominated the headlines, the tech world saw a massive shift during Apple's Worldwide Developers Conference earlier this week.
In his final keynote before stepping down in September, Tim Cook unveiled Siri AI. The system integrates Google's Gemini model to provide deeper personal context for users.
Market reaction was mixed. Apple shares dipped 2% because the new AI features won't immediately be available in the European Union or China due to regulatory hurdles.
The most abrupt news in AI arrived this weekend. The United States Department of Commerce ordered Anthropic to suspend its new Claude Fable 5 model just days after its release.
The government cited concerns over a jailbreaking method that could allow foreign nationals to bypass security and access sensitive information through the program.
Anthropic stated they are complying with the order to disable both Fable 5 and Mythos 5, though they noted other publicly available models share similar minor vulnerabilities.
It is a rare move for the administration to halt a commercial product so quickly, reflecting the growing tension between rapid AI innovation and national security protocols.
In the Pacific, disaster officials in the Philippines are still assessing the damage after a magnitude 7.8 earthquake struck off the coast of Mindanao on Monday morning.
At least 32 people have died, and more than 100 injuries have been reported, primarily due to landslides and collapsing buildings in Sarangani and General Santos.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. suspended classes across the affected regions. The quake coincided with the first day of the new school year for millions of Filipino students.
In Europe, Northern Ireland faced a critical incident this week as riots broke out in Belfast following a stabbing attack on Keenat Street.
Protesters set fire to vehicles and a bus after a 30-year-old man was charged with the attempted murder of a man in his 40s.
First Minister Michelle O'Neill and Prime Minister Keir Starmer have both condemned the violence, urging the public not to let misinformation on social media fuel further division.
Meanwhile, France saw massive protests calling for justice reform after the tragic murder of an 11-year-old girl whose attacker had several prior reports of violence.
The French Interior Ministry has ordered a review of 70,000 legal complaints involving violence against children to be completed within 1 month.
In sports, the 2026 World Cup officially kicked off in Mexico on Thursday, with the host nation facing South Africa in the opening match of the tournament.
And in the NBA Finals, the New York Knicks have taken a commanding 3-1 lead over the San Antonio Spurs after a record-breaking 29-point comeback in Game 4.
It was a historic night at Madison Square Garden, even as off-court tension between Knicks owner James Dolan and Mayor Zoran Mamdani led to the cancellation of official watch parties. Finally, we are watching the results of the South Carolina primary and the ongoing debate in Maine over whether Democratic Senate nominee Graham Plattner will remain in his race.
Plattner has denied allegations of abuse, but with a mid-July deadline for withdrawals approaching, national party leaders are monitoring the situation closely.
It has been a week defined by fragile truces and massive shifts in both technology and global security.
This has been Neural Newscast. Thanks for listening. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com.